side. But now I'm going to show you how it relates to you as H1 going back into ether. Okay? And for some of you people, I'm saying something that you know about on another level. And I'll show you how the spiritual level, the religious level, and the scientific level all mean the same thing. It just depends on what language you're using. Okay? All right, so we said that if we move from H1 into, if ether moves the opposite, H1 goes this way, ether moves that way. Once we break through H1, and I want to make sure I get this right, everybody sees what I'm saying. And I didn't say Allah is in. I said Allah expands and is everything outside of H1, but it's also present in H1. You get what I'm saying? But when you move out of H1, you don't move into a place where Allah is, you move to Allah. Because Allah expands it all. So therefore, we can't say Allah is in, we say Allah is. Now, when I put that in another language, then we say, I go to my father's what? House. You get what I'm saying? You see how many different ways it is to say this? Depending on what discipline you're in. Now I move, let me put it in this way. I moved out of H1 into ether, now I'm in my father's house. So that's why we used to say that Allah is El Aliyu, or in Hebrew, El Ilyun El, and there is a place called El Ilyun, because he is not only El Ilyun, he is the place El Ilyun. You get what I'm saying when I say that?
He's the place.
He has to be the place because you're entering the place. But not only the place, he is the place. You get what I'm saying now? Because there's nowhere that you can go that if you're not in that etheric state from which you came. And there's nothing in H1 that you can take into there that didn't come from there. So what am I trying to tell you?
It's already there.
Say it again, Pastor.
Already there.
Already there. Everything on this side was created on this side. So can it go on that side? No. Can't go on that side. So when you leave your body, can your body go on that side? No. But the gas that we call the spirit, right, can go where? On that side, because where did it originate? On that side. Now do you get what I'm saying? When I say that the spirit man in you is trying to go where? Home. The spirit man is trying to go home. That's where me and my Father are one. Not one H hydrogen, not one in H1, one ether. One ether. Not H1. H1 is here where you are now.
It's already here.
But E1 is me and my Father are one. So was Christ saying, what was Christ saying when he said me and my Father are one? He was saying E or ether one. I'm not going to take you up that high. All I'm going to do is try to get you to see where there were some parables and some words being said that have some scientific meaning in another form or another language. But on the emotional body of this world, me and my Father are one. It's not what it's talking about. You got to go through the knowing of how the universe is created and how everything went back before let there be light, so you can see how to get back there. That's why I started you guys before let there be light. If I started let there be light is hydrogen 1. So if I started let there be light, how do you know how to get beyond that? I got to start you back before let there be light, so you know there is a place before let there be light, that things are going on that do not have a periodic or an atomic number. Because it's called the unseen world. And in the unseen world, it does not have a number. Because ether is a non-participator. So if ether is a non-participator, it doesn't participate with what? Oxygen? Anything that's in this creation. Because if it participated, and I took a little of you back with me, I done corrupted the other place I'm going. You get what I'm saying? I can't take nothing into that realm. Because that something here added up to the sum of a thing. Where I'm going doesn't add up to anything. It can't add up to a sum of anything. It is all in all. Now let me really break it down for you. All right, got your paper ready? Okay, we're gonna head out on the highway now. All right. All right. So let's look at Allah. And we said Allah cannot be added up to a thing, although Allah exists. Allah exists, but he can't be added up because he is the creator in what? In ether and absorbing all of ether. Boom! Let there be light, hydrogen atom, everything is created. Allah was not a part of that creation. He is the creator. So everything that came out of this area went forward H1. Everything on the outside of H1 can't go back through the door. But guess what's inside of you that can go?
The spirit of the
The ether.
Which is called
The soul. It can return from which it what? Came. All right, so we add up and we say Allah doesn't add up to anything, but Allah exists. Watch this. He can't be calculated as a thing. Write this down. I need you to write this whole thing down. He cannot be calculated as a thing. So the best thing that they can do to explain to the faithful people, what do I mean by the faithful people? The religious people?
righteous.
Is this. And I'll show you how this happened. There was a time when they were putting together the most beautiful names of Allah, the most beautiful names of God. And one of the scholars said, he said, Allahu Ahad. Listen. 2 levels here. He said, Allahu Ahad. Then another one said, which means Allah's alone. Watch what I'm saying. One said, Allahu Ahad. Allah is what? Alone. He has no partners. Ether does not participate with H1. You get what I'm saying? Now listen to me closely. Allah is alone and has no partners. What did I tell you earlier? Ether 1 does not participate with H1. Now watch this. He is alone. Later on, the problem popped up. Should it be Allah is one? Or should it be Allah is alone? Now some of you know that we say what? Allah is what? One. But then in the surah, It says Allahu Ahad. Allah is alone and has what? No partners. But then Allah is one. See, when you have scholars who are on a certain level and the ego raises up, instead of them saying, let me hear the voice of Allah, let me hear what God has to say to me so I can give it to my people correctly, they start to interpret their own ways, and they start to say, well, we believe it in this way. And then there's another school of thought that says we believe it this way. And there's another school of thought that says, well, we see it this way. We didn't have to have any school of thought, because when we said Allah is alone and has no partners, we already knew what level it was on, and we already knew what was being taught. So we say, Allahu Ahad. Allah is alone. You get what I'm saying? Allah is alone. Some people were talking about something totally different when they were saying Allah is one. You get what I'm saying? They were talking about something totally different. But the layman, the average mu'minun, faithful Muslim, faithful person, that wasn't for them. The teachers, imams, and sheikhs, and all these people of high knowledge, they're supposed to be feeding it from the voice of God, what God tells them. But now they split all this. Instead of saying, I was wrong, and I can't be wrong because my beard is this long and I'm a sheikh. You see what I'm saying? The ego won't let them hear the true voice of Allah telling them, hey, this is what it really is. So now you got hydrogen is one, and you got ether one. You got one is alone, and you got one is one. Some of you have to talk to you about that a little bit later after class. So this is what happened. Now watch this. It's because of the people that didn't have the correct information that sprouted out these different schools of thought on the simple 99 names of Allah. You see? But had they known the science behind the religion, there wouldn't have been a question of what the truth was. I don't have to debate, is Allah Ahad? Because I just explained it to you through what ether is and what H1 is. So do I have to give my opinion and debate it? No. Allah has already given it to us in the way through the nectar and through science where we can see it. So we don't discuss it and debate it in a way where I think, he said, I don't know. We know. Because the way we come in here and the way we go out of here tells us. The way that I'm in here and I can't take nothing out of here with me, Allah is alone and you ain't bringing nothing in here with you. I'm not going back here to be Allah's partner. He ain't having it. Well, I think I'm going to just take this with me. No, you ain't taking nothing. Because everything that's in you in this physical realm is in H1, hydrogen 1 atom. Let me continue. All right. Let's move into this. So when we say hydrogen 1, hydrogen 1 goes the opposite way of ether. Ether is, like I said before, a non-participator with hydrogen, or a non-particle. A non-particle. Write that down, a non-particle. So ether does not what? Sum up to solid, liquid, and gas. Now look at the arrangement that I gave them in when I said ether does not sum up to solid, liquid, and gas. Look at this, look at how I put it. Ether does not sum up to that. And the reason why is because it does not participate with hydrogen 1. Okay? It doesn't participate. It is actually moving in the opposite direction. What did I tell y'all last class? Ether 1 is moving what? That way. Hydrogen 1 is moving this way, and they don't participate. All right, I'm gonna move a little faster. Now, what you learn in science here, in this world, as people teach you science, they want you to believe, or they want ether to add up to what? 3. Get what I'm saying? They want 1 to add up to 3.
Why?
They want 1. They want 1. I'm going to say this one more time. They want 1 to add up to 3. They want the Father to add up to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They want 1 to add up to 3. Get what I'm saying? Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But when we're talking about ether, in the scientific community, they also want 1 to add up to 3. But can 1 add up to 3 if it's in ether? No. Because they want ether to add up to person, place, and thing, or solid, liquid, and gas. Ether cannot add up to only what? 1. Which one is that? Gas. Yes. Now watch, listen closely, because I'm going to have to give it to you another way. Solid, liquid, and gas. Gas is ether. Allahu Ahad. Ether can only add up to what? 1. So did they know what they were talking about? No. Allahu Ahad. Ether 1 is not a participator with hydrogen 1. Allah is what? 1. Because Allah does not participate with hydrogen 1. Allah Ahad. Allah is alone and has no partners because Allah does not what? Participate with hydrogen 1. So is that correct both ways? Yes. But it's how the scholars were trying to give it to you was the wrong way. Ether 1? Yes. Hydrogen 1? No. Ether 1, Allahu Ahad? Yes. What's the other? Allah is what? 1, and Allah is alone. Right? Those are 2 true statements, as long as Allah is ether, in an ether state. Now, how can you and your Father be 1? It's because you move into an ether state. Then, what kind of numerical value do you have? None. Because now you are out of H1, which gave you 99 attributes or 99 elements, or it moved you into a chemical equation of 99. You lost all those. Now you became what? 1. 1 with who? Come on now. 1 with the Father. What was Christ trying to tell you? I'm 1 with the Father. With the Father. So now when I leave this body, am I still in H1? Am I in H2O?
Still with the Father.
Still with the Father. or I'm back with the Father, and everything that I had is what? Gone.
It can't take
It's gone. It's back where it, what? Belongs. Or originated, right? All right. Let me move a little faster so you can see this. Now, ether sums up to 3. Watch this now, because I just said it. It added up to 1. But watch this. Now, inside of 1, on this side, there is 3. But when you start going back, you start the same way that you came in, but you start from the opposite direction. You start from the opposite direction. Now hold that right quick. So now when we say we get solid, liquid, gas, we go down to hydrogen. Hydrogen is what? Let's say it the way it is. Hydrogen is a solid, right? Solid, liquid, and gas. Okay? Now when we go in the other way, coming into creation is what? Gas, liquid, solid. The other way is solid, liquid, gas. The opposite way. Watch this. So when we get down to the 99 degrees, I won't get off into the solar flex because that's a whole different thing, but I really want to go there. Because we start to talk about somebody taking your temperature. Okay? And now I won't get into that, but that's that fire that's burning in you. That's why they take your temperature, because there is a fire burning inside of you that you can't see. And when you ask the doctors about it, they don't know. They don't know. But whenever somebody puts a thermometer in your mouth and the temperature goes up, there has to be a fire burning inside of you. Now, we'll get off the subject, but this is for somebody who asked me a question. God created 2 lights. One was a greater light, and one was a lesser light. The lesser light is not a moon, because the moon is not a luminous object. It gets its light from the sun. So the greater light that it's talking about and the lesser light is the light that shines in this world and the light in you. The fire that burns in you. That's why you have to take your temperature. Now, where does the source of that come from? I'm going to get off my subject. Take some alcohol, which is called ether. Light it and blow it, it turns into what? Say it?
Fire.
Fire. When you take some old granddad, or you take some type of alcohol, 100 proof, put it in your mouth, light a match, and what's going to come out? Fire. Why? Because of the ether inside of the alcohol. So now, before let there be light, there was what? An etheric state. When the etheric state united it, boom! The Big Bang, let there be light. How do you see that? Take some whiskey, take the ether, light it, and blow it. I just put it in the most simplest terms that I can put it in. Yes, sir.
All right, you talked about the solid, liquid, and gas. What I was thinking about personally was, okay, us as physical beings.
Okay.
We started as liquid, being semen. Then we came into physical.
First you
form.
start as gas.
First we started as gas from the Father,
Mm-hmm.
which was it's ether
That's right.
that pushed the liquid, that made the solid, and then it went back because the ether left, right?
That's right. Now watch how it goes. From the gas comes water first, hydrogen and oxygen, right? H2O. But water gives energy. Inside of water is energy. That's why You make electricity when you make a dam and you put water and you hold the water. Now I can get this light going because of the force current of the water produces energy. You get what I'm saying? So now from that energy, water making a current, you get on a boat and you get in some water, and that water is pushed by what? The wind. Can you see the wind? No. But now the second element is what? Water. And that water made energy, so now your sailboat, along with the water and the air that you can't see, pushes you along. You get what I'm saying? So now in the boat, you are solid. What pushes the boat? The wind. What is the boat floating on? Water. But now the wind gave it power, and now the water makes a current. And the current is energy. You see? I don't want to get ahead of myself because I want to show it to you. You're exactly right, though. That's the way I want you to see it. Now, how does that correlate? That correlates on 3 levels. I'm going to give it to you. I want you to write it down this way. First, I want to make sure I get through everything I want to get through. All right, so let's see it like this. I'm going to read this lesson because I want you to write it down. When we get down to the 99 degrees, what are the 99 degrees? The 99 degrees are the 99 original periodical elements, the elements on a periodical chart that have a number, like hydrogen 1. First element is hydrogen 1, so all of these have a number. When you put these elements as participators together, they create certain raw materials, am I right? Like aluminum, whatever, they have a periodical number. You mix them together in chemistry,